A very quick question, Governor Allen. As you can see here, many of the people who are here attending your rally are former military officers of the South Vietnamese Army. We have tables back there, we have tables up here. They are filled with freedom fighters. And one of the most pressing questions that many of the people here, along with people like my father who fought so long and hard for the freedom of Vietnam, is what are your commitments to the Asian American community here in Virginia, to the Vietnamese American community here in Virginia, and to the homeland of many of these people here, the country of Vietnam?
Well, my commitment is, as I expressed, it is listening to you. The best information I get about what's going on in Vietnam are from Vietnamese Americans, many of whom still have family or friends that are behind in that regime. So many in this room here are good unpaid staff members as far as I'm concerned. And in fact, Dr. Nguyen, I remember, in fact, even nominated Dr. Cao for the Nobel Peace Prize. And I made sure that our ambassador to Vietnam met with South Vietnamese Americans here in Virginia, so that the human rights issue had a face. It's not just me saying it, but wanted to hear the voice and the actual people who are concerned about their loved ones, their relatives who are being persecuted and put under house arrest or even worse by the Vietnamese government. And so I feel that when you also get into matters of appropriations or trade, it is important that those are times where we can actually be proposing or requiring that the Vietnamese government respect human rights. It's to me, the freedom of religion is just very personal to me after what I learned about my mother and my grandfather. And so that's why I think it's absolutely essential that leaders, whenever there's repression, bigotry, that it is deplored. Otherwise, whether it happens here or whether it happens abroad, people will think it's condoned. They're not saying anything about it. And so I want to be side by side. I'm going to be your voice, or allowing your voices to be heard in Washington. That's why I always would sponsor the Vietnam Freedom Day. It was always a great way for people to get united behind the concepts of freedom and justice. And I hope to get on the Armed Services Committee. I have the most seniority out of this class when we win. And that's my first draft. You get the first draft choice. And my pick will be the Armed Services Committee. John Warner was on it when I was in before, so I was on the Foreign Relations Committee. And they don't allow two senators from the same state to be on the same committee if you're from the same party. So that's the committee I want to get into, and that I think will also be beneficial for our strong national defense, jobs in Virginia, as well as being in a position to advocate for a free and just society in Vietnam. And it's not just in Vietnam. It is for people who are in Cuba. There are many others who have not exactly the same experiences, but they are similar. They're similar to Cuban Americans who left for freedom. They love freedom. Asian Americans that are from South Korea, there's a great bond. In fact, the suit's from Korea. South Korea, you're talking about various Asian American groups. The South Koreans are linked arm in arm with the United States. Whenever there's a disaster, whenever there's a need, they're with us. We share the same values. Filipino Americans, same way. Born in battle, the symmetry, but it's more than that, more values. It's folks from Taiwan, obviously, care about freedom, free country. People who may be from a country like China, if they're here, they like freedom and opportunity and enterprise. And so regardless of whatever Asian country someone may be from, whether it's Korea, whether it's Japan, whether it's Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, the Philippines, India, and other countries of the Asian continent, the folks that are here in our country are strengthening America. They're vibrant leaders who care about their families, who have small businesses, who are very entrepreneurial and hardworking, and has made the mosaic of America all the richer and more bright. And I just want to make sure that every American, regardless of their background or ethnicity or their religious persuasion has that equal opportunity to compete and succeed. That is the promise of America. And that promise needs to be restored, because right now that promise is being diminished because of a government that's overtaxing, over-regulating, and denying us the opportunities that we all should have as Americans, regardless of whether you've been here for 40 days or your family's been here for 400 years. And so that's my commitment to Vietnamese Americans and all Americans who live in Virginia. I'm going to fight hard every single day to make sure that everyone who wants a job can get a job, and this country is prospering and free. Come home, and thank you all. I have to race off. On to victory.